Hey, Brandon here. This is channeled advice on the week ahead, and this is for the week of September 2nd through the 8th, Monday through Sunday. I got channel messages that came through ahead of time from my spirit guides, the angels and source, and I'll be channeling them and working with my intuition to bring through any additional information that would be for your highest good regarding all of this. So let's start here. The first thing that came through, well, they are changing it up as they tend to do with these videos, and they're showing me a spaceship. It looks like a Y-Wing from Star Wars. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. Some of you will be like, what's a Star War? And that's okay. So let me see what the message is with this one. So the Y-Wing in Star Wars is actually a bomber spacecraft. So they would fly that one and like drop whatever kind of Star Wars bombs on people to try to make it so that you understand if you're not a big fan of Star Wars. And the message I was getting was about like dropping bombs, like truth bombs. So there are truth bombs being dropped this week. There are bombs for the universe that are probably going to be positive, actually, that are going to be positive dropping maybe in your life, but it's a good thing. So it like moves things in the right direction. It could be like a bomb in your favor, metaphorically, of course, where maybe there's a situation that would do something really harmful for you, and the universe just kind of drops a bomb in the middle of it in your favor, and it all works out splendidly for you with little to no issue for you at all, or no issue to you at all, actually, is what I'm hearing. So the universe is like dropping bombs in your favor is a really interesting message here. There's also this message of like a war ending, but it's personal. So over the next few weeks here, for those of you tuning into this, of course, and it could be people around you as well, if it resonates for you, or maybe, sometimes these messages are for you to pass along to others as well. Sometimes, if you feel called to, or you're guided to, like maybe you're a reader and you're guided to say something that you heard from me for a friend or for someone, and that's okay, is what I'm hearing, as long as you're guided to do it. So just do whatever you're divinely guided to do with that. So there are internal wars ending, or maybe personal wars you've been waging ending in your life, and that's supposed to be over the next couple weeks here, is what I was getting, like September. It might even be through January for some of you if it's kind of a longer stretch kind of thing, or there are kind of bigger things at play being worked out. But there's this like war energy ending, and it's going to lead to light, to play, to fun, to relaxation, to joy, to peace, to those higher frequencies. And it could be a situation you're leaving, where you're leaving those frequencies or energies behind. It could be, again, the universe drops a bomb and ends something that was like that for you. Or it could just be sudden, like big realizations that lead to peace and lead to a stop of fight within you, or lead to lack of judgment, or even to enlightenment, maybe for some of you. So just know that war energies are ending, and you'll be moving forward to peace, or I would recommend you move forward to peace, or rather they would recommend you move forward to peace here. So they'd like me to get to number one here. They showed me a stage, and they showed me a star as well, like the star tarot card. And so you'll notice with these things that came through ahead of time, there is kind of like a theme that is going to weave its way through it. And the themes were something like a play or a production, and also like Star Wars things as well. So like theater, acting, Star Wars. We'll see where all this goes here. Over with the stage, the message is like there's a huge ending energy this week, and it reminds me of the bomb energy. They're flashing that flashback of that intuitive visual for me as well. So you don't have to freak out about this. Just know you might see the signs of things ending, or the beginnings of births of new things in your life. So take it in stride, and things will get great. And they, for some reason, said it's like the end of a play. Like maybe it's the end of a story in your life. So it could be like maybe even your personal stories. Like you had a story for a long time about who you were, or how the world treated you, or how you were in relationships. And all of a sudden that's coming to an end, maybe with an abrupt realization or a conversation, and you're going to become a whole new identity, I guess you could say, in the world. Or you'll just be behaving differently because you become more enlightened, maybe regarding what you actually are, or regarding what's actually true, which will be great, is something I'm getting. And these endings don't have to be bad. Like we talked about earlier, it could be like the war energy ending. It could be like the end of a phase that's really big for you. It could be the end of a difficult situation. It could be the end of a relationship that's been really difficult for you, or a job situation that's been plaguing you and you've one right around the corner, or something like that. So don't assume the worst with any of these messages. Again, I would take it in stride, receive it in stride, see what's true for you, and see what plays out, and ask for the best while you're at it, because it wouldn't hurt to move the energies in a certain direction right now, that you'd feel great about energetically and intuitively and divine guidance wise. So, the next part of this is, what is the thing that is guiding you right now? What is your end target right now? What is your big hope right now? This pertains to the star. What are you aiming for in life? It's important to be moving towards something right now, even if it's small or just a personal target, just to take it's like important to take the next steps. And some of you might argue with me or think you just want to relax or you don't want to do anything. Great, maybe it's time for you to bring peace into your life, or maybe your next target is carving out more space in your schedule so you don't have to work so much, or making or changing your life so you can have what you'd actually like to have in your schedule, even if it is things like play or joy, or something else entirely. I'm going to sit with them for 1 second here. It's kind of like, what would you like? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? How can you make that true? How can you make that your reality? That's more the gist of what they're saying, is what they're having me say. So that's pretty much all they want to say on it too. I would also keep in mind the Star Tarot card. Like, that's like a really specific thing they're showing me and telling me to talk about as well. Like, a lot of you do have hope on the way. I'm pretty sure that's one of the later messages here. And it's important to keep in mind what brings you hope and move towards that and have more of that, and pay attention to like the lies that are bringing you down, whether that's on social media or a news outlet or a friend that consistently says things that are fear based and just kind of drags you down. And then it always turns out it's not true and just like no reason to listen to it. Like, I would protect your peace in some way and move towards the things that are bringing you hope. It's important right now for some reason. Like, if there's a job opportunity that brings you hope, give your all for it, is the way I'm hearing it. So they're having me to move to number 2 here. They're also showing me a grasshopper as I move to number 2 here, which I know there's a common spirit animal that shows up here from time to time. So let's see what's up with the grasshopper here. So it's autumn in this intuitive visual with this grasshopper, and the grasshopper also looks like it's turning like a brown or an orange, kind of like the leaves that turn brown or orange around autumn in certain areas of the world that have autumn. And I know if you're in Florida, you're like, we don't have that, and that's okay, or like the Caribbean or something. So let me see what the message is here. And they're showing this grasshopper hopping from opportunity to opportunity. And it almost looks like job hopping. And spirit is pretty much just saying it's okay if you job hop. Like, my spirit guides, the angels and source, are saying it's okay if you job house. Oh my God, job hop. And I'm not sure why I'm saying it in all these different ways, but the universe is saying it's okay if you job hop and move from thing to thing and aren't staying in place right now. It's kind of more like you have to do what's best for you. So don't stay in place if you feel called to move, especially intuitively. So number 2 here, they give me the phrase cast changing. There might be more with grasshopper though here. So they're just saying like the autumn is a really important time with a lot of changes for this crowd. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's going to be the spring, of course, that you're heading into. And like, really pay attention to the signs from spirit, really pay attention to things your friends are saying that could be messages from spirit through them, whether they realize they're channeling or not. Really pay attention to the signs for some reason, because they're leading you, and there are big ones on the way to redirect you when you start taking the wrong path or moving in a direction that's not good for you, is the way I'm hearing it. Okay, number 2, cast changing. You're being called to cut things out of your life and bring in new things. What are the things that need to go that have been calling to your attention to let them go, such as objects, habits, people, jobs, hobbies, shows that you're watching, etc. This is going to be something that's shoved in your face, not a mystery. So they're really explicitly saying, like, if you're confused about this, you're like, like, don't worry about it. Like, it's going to be really explicitly put in your face somehow what this is, or it already has been recently, or it will today, or this next week, or sometime soon here. So just if you notice something like that, just kind of pay attention and be like, okay, this needs to go. This needs to change. We can't keep having this right now. Like, maybe you're watching a show and you're really consistently triggered and it leaves you in a bad mood all day. And you're like, oh, this is the worst. For some reason, those are the words I'm hearing. Like, okay, maybe it's time to take a break from that show and return to it when you're in a different place and put on something that's going to trigger you less, or something like that. And if you're fighting me on that, okay, like, that's fine. I said what I said. Anyways, what have you been missing that you'd really like to bring in? It's time to start bringing it in, or start planning for it. It's important you're looking to make your life the way you'd like it to be, even if it takes time. Even baby steps will get you there. Don't freak out about this message. Just sit with what you can start doing every day or most days to start moving the energies towards what you'd like. So, what are the things that have been missing in your life that you really like? What's your dream job? What's your dream situation at home or at work? What's your dream life look like? What's your dream relationship look like? Like, what are these things that you know aren't there that you've really been hoping for that you haven't been taking action on? Is it time to put the action steps in place or put the asks out to the universe or do something to move the energies in that direction, even if it's small, and see what shows up and see how the universe responds? Because sometimes the universe is like, hey, it's not quite yet time right, but we'll honor your ask. We see you asking and praying. Awesome. Like we see it, it's noted. Um, it'll happen at the right time. And other times the universe is like, yep, take action, start moving. So pay attention to the response of the universe regarding your action steps and your asks and trust that and trust your own intuition on it as well, of course. Mm, but it's important you're creating a life you'd like to live because otherwise, like, what are you doing here? And I know for some of us, and this doesn't have to be true for everyone, sometimes people go through phases that aren't great. I'm not saying you have to or that has to be part of the road necessarily. And I would ask, like, where is that leading? And what would you like things to look like after that phase? Like, where would you like it to head? Where would you like it to spit you out? And I guess also, how can you make it better right now? Or how can you ask the universe to improve things right now to give you a bit more breathing room and a better time in that space? Because you'll pop out the other side eventually, I suppose. But what's the life you'd like to have after that? And all you have to do about it right now is daydream about it, I guess, is what they're saying, or um, just put something in place to start asking the universe for it, bare minimum. So, number three, they gave me the phrase New Hope. So, a bit of a Star Wars reference, it seemed. We kind of already talked about it. New hope is birthing for this crowd. There are going to be things that bring hope. Move towards those things. That is a sign from the universe. So, if you meet someone, for example, and you're dating and you experience like a lot of hope potentially around it, it's a sign to like move towards it for now. It doesn't mean it's your person until the end of time, maybe. Like we don't have to like be like, oh, that's it, and attach to it because does that usually go well? That's a question. However, like maybe you get a job opportunity was the example they gave me to use for this, and like you get a lot of hope. You're like, oh, finally, like I can make money again. Like money will be coming in, or it's a lot more money. And they're like, okay, cool. Like if you have that hope, like move towards it right now. For now, that's a sign. Number four here, they showed me the Death Star from Star Wars. So pretty much there's a couple camps and a couple different ones to delve into. This one's a bit interesting here. So it does kind of pertain to things ending again. So for one camp of you, for one group of you, things you thought, and there are going to be multiple groups I'm talking to for a second here. So, first group, things you thought were in your life that like aren't in your life anymore, and that's okay. I'll explain that in a second. It's time to start fresh and rebuild with what you have. Sometimes that's the best place to start. So, what does that mean here? Sometimes you have like a friend for a while and then like you grow apart or you don't talk for a while. And then like, I remember it's happened to me where I'd have a sudden realization like, oh, wait, it's been like a couple of years. I don't think I'm actually like that person's not really in my life anymore. Like, oh my gosh. Like it was just kind of a weird realization, even though maybe it was a little bit obvious and it was just like I hadn't really thought about it in some time. And it's like, that's okay. Like it's time to start fresh and rebuild with what you have. Like sometimes that's the best place to start. Like, what's another example here? Like maybe you thought you had money stashed away and maybe you like already spent it, but you forgot and it's like kind of a bummer. It's like, okay, how can you start stockpiling again? Or where's the universe trying to lead you with this if like that happens? Or like what's the universe trying to draw your attention towards so you'll make certain changes to be in a better place? Camp number two, what are the things you've been avoiding that have been needing to be changed, but you're ignoring it? Like, what are the things that need to be annihilated, I guess? What are the things you need to look at for your life to change in the ways you'd like it to? Is there a glaring issue in your routine you need to fix? A glaring issue in a relationship you've been ignoring? Have you been mistreated readily and potentially in big ways, but you brush it under the rug? Sometimes it is better if you stay on top of changing things and do it yourself or initiate it yourself and sit with it before you make a big jump right now. And but sometimes it's better to like stay on top of you being the one cleaning and changing things and doing that instead of sweeping it under the rug and then it blows up at some point or gets so much worse because it wasn't taken care of at the first sign or soon enough before it got really bad or something like that. Um, so the other thing is we kind of already talked about it with the earlier message about the Y wings. There is annihilation coming regarding the things that need to change, but it's in your favor. You just need to let go. So what I like about this is it's in your favor. It's doing it for you, or it could even be like a gentle nudge or push from the universe to end something or change a pattern or talk to someone or set a boundary that you've been ignoring, but is really going to change things for the better, even if the way it shows up for you is gentle rather than it's like a bomb. Okay. So take care of yourself. Make sure you're making the best choices for you. And, camp one, just start from scratch, just do your best, and you'll be fine. Camp two, what do you need to end? Pay attention to what have you been ignoring that it's time to deal with before it gets potentially any worse or anything like that. Number five, anything else before we move on here? So the other message is, yeah, there are certain like annihilations coming if you like don't do anything about things that really need to be taken care of or you're ignoring really important things. That's not to scare you or to say the worst is coming or anything like that. Again, it's supposed to be in your favor, but it might be important to deal with certain things as soon as you can regarding things you know you need to change and you've been putting it off for a while. They want me to reiterate it. The annihilations aren't going to be things that like ruin your life, by the way. It's more like things play out in a way where you're like, oh, that could have been better, is the way I'm hearing it. So not the end of the world, just if you take care of it, it's probably going to go a lot better. So for some reason, they would like me to say like the annihilations are going to be gentle, okay, for at least most of you, all of you. Okay. Number five, accept endings with grace. New beginnings are just around the corner. A new you is just around the corner. Celebrate and move forward when you see where this is headed, or trust the new beginnings will bring more of what you're looking for. So, again, there's a lot of talk about endings, new beginnings, and it does all seem like a lot like it's headed where you'd like it to go, at least for most of you, at least for like 90% of you. Please don't freak out if you're not sure if you're in the 10% or 90% or anything like that. There are new beginnings that are really positive along with the endings here. So none of this is meant to be freaked out about. Again, it's meant to say, hey, things are going to be good. Just keep moving forward. Number six, they show me one that was a little bit different than the themes here. They show me a donkey as well as the phrase comic relief. They just said the universe is going to be sprinkling humor and fun into your life. Enjoy. Be you. Have fun. Don't take it too seriously. So there are a lot of positively uplifting notes, a lot of beautiful things coming in. This week's definitely not going to be all bad. In fact, it's going to be at least mostly positive is what I'm getting for this crowd. And if you've been getting about messages about like positive turnarounds and you feel like they haven't happened yet, like there are positive turnarounds on the way here. So I'd also be looking for these new beginnings that are going to bring really good things in these next few weeks here, or even this week, specifically. The last message I have for you, they showed me a piano and a grand piano, and they just said there's a lot of success around the bend for those of you who have been working hard towards things or working steadily towards things. So keep up your work. That's kind of it, is that there is, again, success on the way for this crowd. So that's it. I hope this helped, resonated to whatever was for your eyes good. I'm wishing you well.